A key part of every Mario Kart game are these boost panels that are located everywhere in this game, but that gave me the idea. How many tracks is it possible to beat while avoiding every single boost panel? To start, we need to clarify that these are boost panels, not these, okay? Some tracks either don't have any boost panels at all, or in the case that they do, they just come down to taking a light turn away from them. So these tracks shown over here will be skipped due to how easy they are. All of these will be tested in time trials in 200cc with access to only 3 mushrooms. I myself will only do 1 lap, unless the course works by sections. In that case, I'll do the entire track. And none of these were made through TAS, all of these were made by human inputs made by me, but without anything left to say. Let's just go to... Twisted Mansion starts out alright, but the real problem begins after going into the underwater segment. Both branching paths lead to a jump, but as you can see, the boost panel covers the entire width of the road, which will normally be trouble. If you want any hope to get away from the water, you must go to the right path. Thankfully, water physics let us fall slowly to the ground after hopping over the panel with enough speed without having to touch it. In the beginning of this track, there is a big boost panel that you must use to get over the cliff, so the only solution is to abuse respawn points with Lakitu, making the game think you fell off from the other side, because if you don't, Lakitu will always pick you up from the side we want to move away from. However, to do this, you must take a blind jump in front of you, and use your shroom if necessary. If done correctly, Lakitu will spawn you on the other side, and will let you proceed. Don't worry about the cascade you need to ascend, just hug either wall and no panels will spawn there. Sunshine Airport begins absolutely terribly with a massive boosted ramp that covers the entire width of the road. There is no way you could jump off of, as the respawn points send you backwards. The angle of the ramp is so acute there's no feasible way to jump over the ramp, and I tried and tried and tried and tried again, but nothing worked, until a miracle happened. This was my successful attempt. Let's go! A frame perfect trick jump before touching the boost panel will be absolutely necessary to get over it. And it won't be easy, oh god it won't be easy. But it can be done taskless. And for this bit, just hug the wall off of the plane track. And this course will be done for dinner. This one's a lot easier. Just take the alternate path without the panels. And this ramp, just fall off it and you'll be fine. Our Wario starts out fine enough in the first section. The second section is mostly fine too, just be careful where you land and fall if necessary. You will get sent to the dam, and just avoid the moving panels. Nah, the real reason this track is here is due to the third and final lap. The final ramp is absolutely riddled with boost panels, 3 of them being extremely difficult to jump over. The first one you must jump over it, but what makes it so difficult is the camera angle that the game gives you. You practically need to memorise the location of the ramp without flubbing it up, but with enough speed, patience and luck, you can jump over it. But we're not done yet. Jumping over these is impossible no matter what you do. You may be lucky and avoid one, but not the other. But let me introduce you to another exploit this game has. I call it Mushroom Boosted Jump Punk Air Storage System, or MBJB. It goes something like this. When shrooming into a sloped wall in the correct angle, the car ascends higher in the air than usual, and at higher speeds, and using this you can bunny hop into the wall, over the panels, and store speed. You need to trigger a second MBJB with the speed gain with the shroom used earlier. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but that's the best way I can explain it. So if you somehow jump over these unscathed, Lakitu will pick you up from the glider section to safe ground. Just fall off here and use common sense here. This one's a lot more chill than some others. Just fall off the Mecha Bowser section. This boost panel doesn't need anything elaborate to avoid, so just jump over it with enough speed and it will be cleared sooner rather than later. Royal Raceway is the boost panel track, and at first it looks very impossible. But just drive on the corners and you can barely avoid the first panel. Do the same for the second and jump over it and you'll clear it fine enough. Okay. So this one, oh boy, this jump is extremely frustrating. At first glance, there is no way to fall off. You can use these routes, but Lakitu completely everything up. So I tried other things, and there's this small gap in between the boost panel and the invisible wall that you can jump into. However, this method doesn't come without its flaws. It is very finicky, but possible. For the rest, just fly over the panels or fall off of each platform and you'll be good. Just go in the corner of this ramp and avoid these others and good things will happen. Don't be stupid like me and go to the lake because you won't return, but the rest of it is easy. Music Park has this one section that you have to jump over the tambourine, but before jumping it there's this panel that you have to jump over. But this one's actually quite easy to avoid too. Just jump over it with enough speed and precision and you'll clear it just fine. The pipe sends you back outside, has more wide boost panels, but these are a bit more difficult to jump over than Music Parks. These require more demanding timing and speed, but they can be done with enough patience. This panel occupies the entire width of the track, but it's pretty narrow, so you can easily avoid it just by jumping. Mute City is the top of track that spells out "Yikes" in a challenge like this. Look at the amount of these. It's absolutely crazy. And it doesn't get much better, as not far away from the start line there is this small jump with a massive boost panel, and it's located in such an extreme angle that no matter what speed or the timing you hop, in normal circumstances, you're cooked. But something not many other tracks have is low gravity, so I thought, hey, if I jump over the barrier that prevents me from falling, maybe Lakitu will spawn me away from this jump. But no, this clouded bastard just dropped me here. So there goes that plan. What if we somehow drive on top of the barriers and avoid the boost panel completely? This might actually work, as low gravity allows us to control air movement nicely. Doing this is close to impossible, and I haven't done this myself, but then I had another idea. Remember the agony that I had to endure in Mount Wario? Oh yeah, I was about to do it all over again at MBJB ASS. So I got ready, tried this tactic numerous times, and after many hours, this was my successful attempt. However, we still had more panels to avoid, like this one. This jump also has quite a strange angle, and it might look impossible, but with the correct angle, it should be possible to hop over it. Use the right side, as it's easier to jump over. But wait! Don't touch that finish line just yet, because it does... Yeah. Just jump over it, and this track is finally done. This track is all about steep slopes, but someone had the audacity to put one here, and it's quite unclear if you actually jump over this panel. So just to be safe, take this pitfall shroomless and you'll be sent here. Afterwards, you'll have to use a mushroom here so Lakitu can spawn you on the other side. If you're attempting the 3-lap version of this challenge, first of all, good luck. Second, do this and you'll have enough shrooms to clear this jump without running out of any shrooms. This was probably the most unsuspecting track to give me issues, but it indeed has. The first obligatory jump to do has one of these. There is a small gap on the right side of the road, and it's relatively elevated above the ground, which, if shroomed, may be possible to jump over. But if you try hard enough, you can clear the gap, and Lakitu will send you on the other side. The other DLC GBA track starts out simple enough. The jump might be scary at first, but there is more than enough space to fall off and spawn on the other side. Now the second jump, however, is much trickier to handle. The left side, to my knowledge, is completely impossible. And if you align yourself in the very exact angle, you could just jump over the panel, but you must do this shroomless, otherwise it becomes impossible. Big Blue is the lesser of two evils compared to its deranged brother. You'll encounter a top and bottom platform, there's nowhere to go down there, so just get up here. Now you must do a jump from up here to down there without triggering Lakitu. Anyways, do you remember how Mute City worked each time you clear a lap? Well there, the lap trigger is also a hidden boost panel which could luckily be jumped over avoiding it, right? Well here, you can say goodbye to that because even if you jump, you will boost. So what now? Well, do you remember when I said that I could drive by the boundary barriers in Mute City? Yeah, well, you will have to do this, and land by the water stream, all without dying, because if you do, Lakitu will do a big smelly and send you back there. But we're still not done! After the glider section, you will land on top of the lap trigger, and, well, so how do you avoid this? You can't move freely in this section. If you drive on the far left of the glider segment, with enough luck, you can land on the ground without touching the lap trigger, and jump off of the left, and Lakitu finally becomes useful and spawns you on the other side of the lap trigger. And after that, you have to avoid the bountiful amount of panels layered around the entirety of the third and final lap. And eventually, eventually reach the finish line without touching a single dirty glowing tile. When exiting the mall, there are two directions to go. Don't go down, as it's just unnecessarily difficult to leave without touching the pesky panel. Instead, go to the top path. There's this flat thingy by the wall that you can use to jump over the panel easily enough. Drive here and fall here, and you'll be good. This track is all about the glider segment, and 2 out of the 3 glider segments also contain boost panels to avoid, the first of which you cannot jump over due to the sticky road. However, the sidewalls are actually sloped and drivable, and don't get affected by the sticky road, so it is possible to bounce off of them over the panel onto the metal railing. This will clear the path until the very end, where we're in the exact same situation, except the walls are not drivable and the panel is longer, so you know what to do, right? That's right! MBJB ASS's, but it's much more manageable compared to Mount Wario Mute City's version. With a bit of luck, the stored airspeed can send you flying into the air without the need of touching the panel, making this track very possible. 3DS Rainbow Road is a weird one. The sheer quantity of boost panels may look intimidating, but thankfully, most of the track is respawn friendly, and there are barely any guardrails, which means you can abuse heavily off of the respawn points. However, you still need a mushroom boost off of the mushroom section, but you need to take a big ol' longie, otherwise Lacto will spawn you backwards. Afterwards, when leaving Saturn's rings, you need to take another longie without touching the panel. Just be careful when leaving the rotating cylinder and beyond, but aside from that, this track is done. When reaching the toll booth, you need to encounter a filthy panel, and avoiding it will take quite a long time. Not because it's difficult, because you need to find a car carrying the surfboard, and afterwards, you will get on top of it, avoiding the panel. Thank you very much, mister. You will never be forgotten. I hope you appear in the next Super Smash Bros. Game. The simplest of problems require the simplest of solutions. However, not every track has a solution, or at least, not that I know about. If you had a keen eye, you might have encountered some tracks have been missing. Well, even though 89 tracks have been possible, that leaves 7 that, to my knowledge, are simply impossible, being these. Mario Circuit GBA and Animal Crossing have the exact same problem. The edge of the ramp might be boost panel free, but the collision of the panel is simply too large to go through. Waluigi Pinball requires the touch of 3 individual panels. Maple Treeway has this one ramp that's completely unavoidable. Singapore has this huge ramp. Cooper Cape bombards us with 5 individual panels. And we Rainbow Road, we amass a total of 7. So if we count only lap 1s in this total, the minimum amount of panels we need to touch is 17, which is crazy for 96 tracks. So no, it is not possible to beat Mario Kart 8 Deluxe without touching a single boost panel. But only 17 panels in and of itself is an accomplishment.